Stand by. Action.
Hello, I'm Mark Kermode.
Hello, I'm Linda Ruth Williams.
Between us, Linda and I are the co-curators of the Shetland Screenplay Film Festival, and I'm a patron of the Isle of Man Film Festival.
And I'm primarily an academic. I'm now Professor of Film at the University of Exeter, but do things outside of that role, promoting elements of the film industry and talking to filmmakers. So I'm part of a research project called Calling the Shots, which is investigating women filmmakers in Britain today.
So, Linda, how did we start the Shetland Screenplay Film Festival? What happened?
Well, we didn't start it. We did it. We kind of jumped in as part of a collaboration. So Mark was invited to a book festival which had a thriving history in Shetland called Wordplay about, in fact, 13 years ago. There wasn't a cinema in Shetland at that point. They ran a film club, and as part of the book festival they had a strand where they wanted Mark to talk about writing as a film critic and being a film critic, and also to introduce a screening of The Wicker Man. So we all trooped up there, and we loved Shetland, and we got on very well with the people, and they were very enthusiastic about cinema. Across the next 2 years, they got in touch and asked if Mark, first of all, and then both of us later, would co-curate a film festival that they wanted to set up annually. Our love of Shetland and its island community and the friends that we met there and their enthusiasm for cinema came first. And our involvement with what is now really successful and thriving film festival, Screenplay, came second. It's called Screenplay. It's not actually only about screenplays and screenwriting. That seems confusing, I know, but it's because there was an existing book festival called Wordplay.
And when they first said, do you want to do a film festival? Our first response was, well, you don't have a cinema on Shetland, which at that point they didn't. So when we first began the festival, we were showing films in the Garrison Theatre. So they put a screen up in the Garrison and we'd show the films there. But they were in the process of building an arts centre called Mariel, which took a really long time to get built. I think we were in the 7th year of the festival. We moved the festival into Mariel, something like 7th or 6th or 7th?
Not quite, no, it nearly was, yes. They opened Mariel in 2012, so we've been there for five festivals now.
So Mariel is a really great art centre. So now they have this art centre in the middle of Lerwick in Shetland, and we go there every year. We put together a programme of films with Cathy Hubbard, who is basically the sort of the core of the festival. So
Cathy is the director of the festival. There's also a director of the education aspect of the festival, Carl McDermott, and lots of volunteers and lots of enthusiastic people on the ground in Shetland who've got a really good idea about what Shetland audiences respond to.
And there's a strand in the festival called Homemade in Shetland, in which people who live in Shetland make short films. And Linda and I have just come back from this year's Shetland Screenplay Film Festival. We showed 27 short films made locally, which cover all the different bases, sort of comedy, poetry, history, drama, and that's always been a really sort of thriving part of the festival.
You're the oldest member of the tribe?
Yeah, I'm the oldest.
And how old are you?
I don't care if it passes every night, or if it passes once a year when it comes, but it comes and it goes and it gets bigger and smaller, and I think that's how old I am, as the many passes away.
So the Island Games are being held in Shetland this year. They would need to start running. And there they go.
And we do it because we love going to Shetland. We love the landscape. We love how different it is to anywhere else, and also because the festival is absolutely rooted in the community. It's to do with putting on a festival that the people in Shetland want to see. I mean, actually, we now do get people coming to Shetland specifically for the festival, but the whole point of the festival is it's for the community who are there already.
We've had some fantastic guests over the years, but again, they're people who, haven't balked at the idea of travelling for a long time on, even if you fly, if you get the boat from Aberdeen, it takes 13 hours. So it's quite tricky to get to. So you have to really want to go there and see it. The homemade films, the films from Shetland filmmakers, do often reflect the sort of nuances of island life in the North Atlantic. So they're often about being cut off and the pleasures as well as the, difficulties of that. They're about the sea, they're about fishing, they're about language, so lots of Shetland dialect sort of poetic films as well, and films in reflecting the voices of Shetland people. But they're also absolutely not about that. They're about just normal stuff, relationships, and they're often very comic. I think, we've found that the Shetland people that we've met have got very quirky and strange sense of humour, so the films really do reflect that.
He was bitten by a horse. 50% horse, 50% man, 100% stallion.
And we've had a great run of guests. We've just got back from the festival now. This year we had Bill Nighy come up to introduce a screening of The Limehouse Golem. George Mackay came up. We did a sing-along of Sunshine on Leith, and we had a screening of Pride, which Bill Nighy is also in. Hope Dixon-Leach, who's this brilliant rising Scottish filmmaker who'd made a brilliant movie set in Somerset called The Levelling, came and did a sort of masterclass, talked about the film and how she got it funded, how she got it together. We're having a special screening of Hillsborough. So there was a whole sort of diverse range of stuff going on, and we are now at the point when we're actually having to turn guests away, which is really lovely. And
another important strand which really reflects Shetland's geography, and which the festival director Cathy Hubbard has absolutely nurtured, is our Look North strand, which connects Shetland to other really north of the Northern Hemisphere filmmaking communities. So Scandinavian film and TV as well, film from Greenland, film from Iceland, film from the northern reaches of Canada and around and about. So that connectedness of very remote island communities to other remote island communities with, similar climatic issues, similar landscapes, but also very different landscapes and very different ways of living. So yeah, that's very thriving.
And a few years ago, I was asked to come and do something at the Isle of Man Film Festival, because my family's from the Isle of Man originally, and so we always try and come back at least once a year. And I was asked if I would come over and do a talk. And I did, and I loved it, because I always love coming back to the island, and any excuse to do that is great. And what happened was we started talking about what was going on in Shetland, and there seemed to be some comparisons, some similarities, some things very different, but some similarities. I mean, obviously the Isle of Man already has a thriving film industry. At any one time, there's a number of films in production. But because of the fact that it was an island festival, there were certain things that connected to Screenplay in Shetland. So Dave from the Isle of Man Film Festival came over to Shetland a couple of years ago and just sort of looked at the way it was working, and liked certain things about what was happening with the Screenplay Festival, and also brought his own knowledge of what was going on with the Isle of Man Film Festival. And we all talked together with Cathy Hubbard about what the similarities were between the festivals and what the differences were between the festivals. Nowadays, we're in this lovely position where we go and do Screenplay, and then we come back for a few days, and then we go to the Isle of Man and do the Isle of Man Film Festival. So we just got back now, but we're back off. We'll be back in the island in 5 days.
Completely ignoring the Toronto Film Festival, might I add.
Yeah, completely ignoring the Toronto Film Festival, and completely ignoring the Venice Film Festival, both of which were on at the same time, and both of which we did get invited to. But the fact is, we love the Screenplay Festival, and we really, really love the Isle of Man Film Festival. I came to the Isle of Man Film Festival a few years ago to do an onstage with John Hurt, which was, it was a wonderful thing to do, and we showed The Elephant Man, and John had, brilliant memories of working in the Isle of Man. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage and give a huge Isle of Man Film Festival Gaiety welcome to Sir John Hurt.
I can remember certain things that I always admired Alan Parker.
Well, I think they're incredibly important. I think any film festival, anybody who has the enthusiasm to start a film festival should be encouraged, because it's grassroots, and it's where it starts.
There was a period before that when I came over with my band, the Dodge Brothers, and we played a live accompaniment to a silent film, again in the Gaiety, which is a really big thing for me because it was the first theatre I ever went to. I was taken to the Gaiety by my mum and dad one summer to see, I think it was Tom O'Connor, and the first gig I ever saw was a Shwaddy Waddy in the Villa Marina, which of course is now very much part of the festival. So it was always a real pleasure for me to come back to the Isle of Man to do the Isle of Man Film Festival, and having by that point been sort of so bound up with the Shetland Screenplay Festival, I just love the idea of going from one island festival to the other. And again, the similarity is it's to do with being rooted in the community. It's to do with, there is something different about island festivals. They're not the same as, for a start, they're not aggressive. They're not competitive. They're not, there's not that same sense of everyone being burnt out that you get at big festivals. Frankly, I would take any excuse to go to the Isle of Man. Last time we were there, we took a trip up to the north because we went up to go and visit a friend up there, and it was wonderful having the chance to drive around. But the festival itself was brilliant because it demonstrated that this thriving film culture is going on. Lots of short filmmakers. Mindhorn, I think, had just been finished and was just sort of waiting to be released. Obviously, there've been so many features made in the Isle of Man. There have been a few features made in Shetland, but it's a very, very different thing because the Isle of Man has this thriving film industry, but they are both island festivals. They both have that individual feel about them.
I also like I very much like festivals that are a bit more of a sort of smorgasbord. I enjoy themed film festivals, horror film festivals, documentary film festivals, where you just kind of binge on one type of movie and it's full of enthusiasts and full of experts. But certainly on the basis of these two island festivals that one of which I'm instrumental in, the other one I've just enjoyed as an audience member, I like the fact that you can dip in and out of different types of films. That there are family films, there are shorts, there are local films, there are international films, there are sort of windows into many other worlds, and I think island festivals can often do that. They can showcase the film culture of that island or set of islands, but they can also bring other places in connection to that location.
We have such great memories of the Isle of Man Film Festivals. I remember hanging out in the museum with Roger Dean, looking at his artwork, looking at his designs, which was absolutely brilliant. I remember, taking a walk and having a long talk with John Hurt, which was, such good fun because he was, such a wonderful person to hang around, speak to. This year, of course, we're doing a tribute to Steve Christian. There is, in fact, only one thing about the Isle of Man Film Festival about which Linda and I violently disagree, and that's the importance of having kippers for breakfast.
Oh God, yes, yeah, not me, thank you very much.
Manx kippers, best in the world, absolute breakfast of champions, sets you up for the day. In fact, ideally, kippers and a pint of Guinness on the Bemba Cree. That's the way to do it.
No, I'll fly in and I'll have scones for tea, or a cup of tea and a biscuit, having flown to the Isle of Man. That's me.
And I'll meet you on the dock, having had kippers and Guinness on the boat. See you there.
Good luck to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.